Hello. I wanted to share a couple money manifestation things that have happened to me lately. And all of these things have been in the past probably 2 weeks. I have more stories to share, but I'm going to share three specific things that were just very surprising and delightful when they happened. And I have been probably for about 4 months now really focusing on being a deliberate creator in my life and bringing about things just from what I'm thinking about, creating my own destiny, law of attraction, that the energy that I send out is the energy that I get back. And if something is going good, it's because I'm sending out good energy and happy thoughts, and good things will come back to me. And if what I'm experiencing in my life right now is not good, problems or something's going bad, well, what was I thinking about to cause that? That my thoughts cause the reality of events that come back to me. And so I've really also been having fun with manifesting money. And I kind of joke to myself, or have this thought to myself, that every time I leave the house, I'm going to find money. And I keep finding money. And it's just been really interesting. And I have been, when I'm on a walk, a lot of times I walk every day or I run, I have been finding coins. And I'll go around the park and I will just walk upon a coin. And so in doing this, it's been, the more I find coins, the more I expect to find coins. And so that then starts the whole, every time I leave the house, I'm going to find money. And that feeds on itself, because then I'm like, well, how can I create larger amounts of money? Or what else can I do? And I found some YouTube videos where it's music in the foreground, so you're listening to music. But in the background are subliminal messages of money manifestations, like money affirmations, money affirmations. So in the background, it's supposed to be indiscernible to your conscious mind, but your subconscious can understand these affirmations. So I started listening to these affirmations, and a couple days in a row I listened to them, and I was driving home from my kids' hockey practice, and we were caught in this torrential downpour, like this really crazy thunderstorm. And I'm listening to, I have on the radio this subliminal money manifestation audio track going. And, it's just music playing, but then there's subliminal messages that your subconscious is supposed to be picking up. And in addition to this, I started thinking, these raindrops, it is just coming down so hard. And it's starting to hail a little bit. And I start picturing that the actual raindrops that are coming down are quarters falling from the sky. And I just think about all these quarters falling from the sky. And it's lightning like crazy, and I'm just thinking this lightning is just the energy that is bringing me money. And we finally make it home, and, we're dashing into the house because we're getting sopping wet, and it stormed all night. And then the next morning, I work from home, so pretty much I'm home during the day, and my kids go off to school, and I see that my daughter had left her laptop at home, and she needs it for school. So I'm like irritated that I'm going to have to go out, because it's still cold and rainy. I'm going to have to go out in the cold and rain, take her laptop to school because she forgot it, because she actually specifically needed it that day. Like, they had sent reminder emails, make sure you have your laptop, make sure you have your laptop. So I had to go out and take the laptop to her. Like, they had already left on the bus. So I'm irritated about this. And I catch myself being irritated. And I say, well, maybe I'm going out because I'm going to find some abundance. Something's going to be given to me when I leave the house, because I'm always finding money every time I leave the house. So I go to the school, drop off the laptop, come back home. Nothing unusual happened. I didn't find any money anywhere. Come back home, and I'm walking from the car into the house, and something catches my eye in the landscaping, like right in front of my house. And I look real close, and because it was raining so hard the night before, the water like rushes down our driveway. Our driveway's kind of at an incline, and it pools up and makes this big lake right in our landscaping in front of the house, and it washes away the wood chips, the landscaping wood chips. And the water had washed away enough wood chips that there's just dirt there now, and there's a quarter in the dirt. And I was like, no way. Like last night, I was thinking about it raining quarters, and now here's a quarter. And the quarter was only revealed because the water washed away the landscape wood chips. Or the water brought the quarter. I'm not sure if the quarter was there already in the dirt or if the water brought the quarter. But I pick up the quarter, and my eyes kind of shift like another foot, and there's another quarter. And it also is like totally buried in the dirt. So they're really dirty. They were hard to spot. And I started thinking, well, maybe the rain brought more quarters down the driveway. So I walk the whole length of the driveway, and I find another quarter. Like this one is bright and shiny and right on the driveway. And I don't know if the rain brought the quarters or if the rain revealed the quarters. I have no idea. But the shiny one on the driveway, there was no way that was there the day before, because I would have seen it. And so it indeed was raining quarters. And the fact that I had to leave the house that morning made it so I actually did find them. I wouldn't have found those quarters if I wouldn't have left the house and come back. Because after that, leaves would have blown over them, and they would have been buried again, and I never would have saw them. So that's one thing that happened to me. Now another day, it might have been like the very next day. I think it was the very next day. I go to the park, and I'm walking, and I'm in my car. Well, first of all, I'm in my car before I get out to walk. And when I find money, I take a picture of it. And this is the pictures you're looking at on this video. And I opened up the folder I have on my phone of these pictures, and I looked through all the different coins I have found on different walks. And I said to myself, I am not leaving this park until I find some money. So that's what I said. So I go for a walk, and I had been walking probably 30 minutes, and I hadn't come across any money. And then I just kind of indiscriminately left the normal path I'm on and walked over to where they really have like the kids' soccer fields. And I'm kind of like looking for money, because it had been a half an hour and I hadn't seen anything. So I'm like looking, and I'm kind of looking in the grass, and all of a sudden I walk up on coins in the grass. Like I literally walked straight to them. And this is a huge grassy field. Like the fact that I walked straight to these coins is crazy. Like there's no way that I can cover every inch of this park. Like the grass is so expansive. Like there's so much grass. And I walked right up on these coins. And it was a quarter and a dime. So 35 cents. And it's not much. But because I keep finding all these coins at the park, I have started a mason jar at home. So because I keep finding all these coins, every time I leave the house, I've started putting them in a glass mason jar at home. And it's a big mason jar. It's a quart size. So it's a pretty big jar. And I keep putting all the coins in there that I find. And my goal is to fill it all the way up to the top just with these coins that I find. 'Cause it's so fun. It's just so fun and delightful. Just like the one at the park where I walked right to it. And yes, I was looking for money at that point. But the fact that I walked straight to where those coins were, it's just crazy to me. It's crazy how the universe works and everything aligns and you get what you think about and you just have to change your thoughts. So one last story, and this one's even crazier to me. So because I keep finding coins, I'm driving to hockey again, and while my kid's at hockey, I normally go for a walk because his practice is like an hour and 15 minutes, and it's not long enough for me to go home and come back, and it's too cold for me to sit in there, so I normally go for a walk. And I'm about 5 minutes from getting to the rink, and I think to myself, I wonder what money I'm going to find today. And then I keep on driving to the rink, and we park, and we get there, and before I go for my walk, I'm going to run inside real quick and go to the bathroom, and then I'm going to go for my walk. So he's taking his gear out of the back of the vehicle, and I'm walking in to the rink, and I see him take the gear out, and there's all this stuff like in the trunk of my car that I have no idea what it is. And I look closer, and it is my husband coaches my daughter's basketball team, and they had their last game the day before, and he had to turn in the bag of basketballs that he had for the team. But in addition to just the basketballs, what was in the bag was a bunch of, he had like reversible jerseys in there for the girls to wear during practice, and he had like a dry erase marker, like a dry erase board with markers to draw up plays, and he had whistles in there. And he emptied all that out and just threw it in the back of my car. And I totally forgot he had even taken my car the day before to go to the game. So he threw it all in the back of my car. And I was just like, oh, that's kind of weird. I didn't even know that was there. So I go in, go to the bathroom, come back out, and it's kind of late in the day, and I'm thinking I might need a long sleeve shirt. So let me grab a long sleeve shirt out of the car before I leave. And I look in the back seat, and I did have a long sleeve, but it was kind of thick, kind of too hot. And I thought, well, let me look at all that stuff that I just saw in the trunk of the car and see if there's a lighter weight long sleeve back there. So I go back there, and I'm picking through all this pile of mess of clothes that he left in my car. And I had to move like 3 or 4 jerseys. And there is this big, fat envelope. And I open up the envelope, and it is full of cash. And it ended up being, at the beginning of the basketball season, we had paid for all the uniforms for the team, and then each parent reimbursed us individually. And this was an envelope that one of the parents had sent with their player to give to my husband, just reimbursing us for the uniform. That was like 7 months ago. So I'm relaying this story to my husband about how I was thinking about, well, I wonder what kind of money I'm going to find today. And 5 minutes later, I find an envelope with a bunch of cash in my car that I didn't put there. And I'm telling my husband the story, and I said, well, how long has that, like, he didn't even know what I was talking about. He had no recollection that there was this envelope of cash with his basketball stuff in the basketball bag, and he didn't see it when he emptied out all that stuff that he left in my car. Like, he had no clue that this envelope of money existed. And what was so funny about it is I recently was thinking about how I always find all these coins when I'm on a walk, right? And I was thinking, well, how come I can't find dollar bills? And I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice to find a $20 bill instead of a quarter? Like, why can't I find a $20 bill? And in this envelope was a $20 bill and then $31 bills. Like, there was $50 total in there. But there were so many bills in there that the envelope was just nice and fat. And so it's just a synchronicity of me telling myself, I wonder what kind of money I'm going to find today on my walk. And in the previous couple days, thinking about, why can't I find a $20 bill instead of just quarters, instead of just coins? And also, another thing I've been doing is, when I have extra cash, I have an envelope sitting on my desk in my office, so like by my computer, and I've been looking at this envelope of cash and just kind of using it as a visualization tool to visualize getting more cash coming to me. And it was almost exactly the same. Like, the envelope is one of the business length envelopes. It was full of cash, and it's almost exactly the same as this envelope I have at home that I keep cash in, specifically to visualize getting more cash. So that was another like funny synchronicity of it. So I just want to encourage you to think about things showing up in your life. Like, actually visualize finding coins in the grass, or visualize an envelope of cash showing up, or visualize a check going to the mailbox and there being a check in the mail. I have some funny stories about that also, but I will put that on another video because this one's getting kind of long. But just right now, picture in your mind something you want to receive, and think a happy thought. Think how you would feel when you find this money or when you receive this item. So picture it in your mind. Think the happy thoughts and the gratitude of how you'll feel when you receive it. And what you think, those thoughts that you send out, those will come back to you. Until next time, see you later.